And now we are back here again at Richmond Raceway, live on Checkered Flag Interactive. Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty, the Upper Edge Racing CMC Sportsman Series heads around the apex here. Race number 8 on the season. These guys getting things kicked off. For after last week, we did some rights, we did some lefts, we hopped the border over to Canada for the race at Montreal. And now we go back to the States here, back to the ovals, and back to the short tracks. Shane, what are your thoughts here as things get wrapped up in open qualifying?
Well, definitely returning to a lot different track than we did last week here. We go from a road course to a short track, and Richmond is really a beast in itself. It's not like any other track on iRacing, and it's going to present some guys here with a challenge, a lot flatter banking. I think some of these guys are used to on the season so far. I think this is actually one of the flattest tracks we're going to here, minus the road course so far. So it's going to be a challenge for these guys accustomed to the high bankings and obviously beating and banging that Richmond has to offer.
I know when we traveled here in the Pro Series just about a month ago, things got a little bit bumpy. And right now, as you see the current qualifying results up on your screen, things getting ready to get kicked off here tonight. Times towards the front only separated by about 1/10 of a second, and the top 10 only separated by just over 1/10 of a second there. Bradley Burke sitting in 11th place, he's just under 2/10 off of the leader. So now they get down on the grid. I think it's going to be my favorite part of having this new ticker, Shane. We've got our new gridding buttons all set up, so when you roll through there, I'll actually get to participate.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. Nice we are unveiling that. But starting on pole for tonight's event, Andrew Fayash III. What a surprise there. He is third fastest in practice. He is the pole sitter, and on his outside, a very big surprise, Shane Terrian. Starting third, Sean Powell makes his return to the series, and Corey Hoover will start fourth. Rounding out the top 5, Justin Munseal, as he returns for the second straight week in a row, and Ryan Dyson starts 6th. Andy Glazik starts 7th, Trevor Rapolo 8th, Austin Hartenfels 9th, and to his outside will be Mark Murphy. Bradley Burke starts 11th, and to his outside, Joseph Thies. Mark Rapolo and Leandro Schmidt start 13th and 14th. Mike Tellier will start 15th, and 16th is Riley Grant Davis. Chris Scala will start 17th, and Bronson Stafford will start in the 18th position. Michael Thompson and Mario Gerard make up the next row in 19th and 20th. Michael Finlayson and Elaine Krasinski start 21st and 22nd. Starting 23rd, Bruce Ackerman, 24th, Brandon Demuriak, and 25th, Dalton Alexander.
And here are these guys getting wrapped up. Very shortly, that pace car will be rolling off. Just remember, this is the CMC Sportsman Series here, brought to you by Crescent Moon Contracting. The field rolling off from the grid. Now, as we speak, these guys all ready to head off into turn 1 and 2 here. This short track is it's one of those tracks, Shane, that you cannot let your guard down at all, just for a moment even, and you can find yourself in a lot of trouble. While a lot of tracks here, the bottom line is the only place you can run. Richmond really presents itself as a place where you can even work up on the middle lines here. You can't really use the high side, but in turns 3 and 4, and even in 1 and 2, with the type of banking it's got on entry, you can sometimes pull off those passes on the middle and outside lines.
Yeah, you're not going to be seeing what Kevin Harvick did in the races this year, where he went all the way up in the wall and actually drove off the wall, almost like a dirt track you would do it at, but not here. You're going to be more toward the bottom, but definitely if you have a better car and you have fresher tires, you can make that middle groove work. And we're going to start, especially see this early on, as some of these guys are going to try and get as much spots as they can.
Here at Richmond, you've got to pass early, you've got to pass quickly, you cannot waste your time. Once the field gets spread out, you're going to find yourself getting lapped within a hurry. So now the pace car lights are off. These guys are all set and ready to go here, Shane. It's been a long ride to get here to Richmond for some of these drivers, but things are really tense up at the top of the point standings, and we'll dive into that as things get set and ready to go here. But these guys all ready to go racing here at Richmond.
Andrew's going to lead him to the green, and we are racing here in Richmond. 175 laps tonight.
These guys diving down into turns 1 and 2 for the first time. It's one of those tense times of the race. Everything looking solid towards the front so far. Everyone getting single file in a hurry. A little bit of side-by-side there mid-pack right now. Mark Murphy, the number 48, diving underneath of Trevor Rapolo, that number 9, making the move on the outside. It's not going to go anywhere. Starting on the outside was definitely a disadvantage for him there. No probs, though. It's early on in the race, still over 170 laps to go. Shane, if you take
Corey Hoover as he makes the pass for second there.
It's just about to say that, Shane, as you mentioned, already Corey Hoover in that number 33 after a very successful week last race time by. Oh, as we've got Ryan Dyson getting loose. What a save. Although things going to be tense here in 1 and 2, Justin Munseal and that number 25 diving around up on that outside line. Going to get a little bit loose. Cut down in front of Ryan Dyson there. That number 28 losing 2 or 3 positions there after moving up early on that start. Andy Glazik, that number 19, stuck up on the high side. Now the number 9 of Trevor Rapolo making some big moves. And he's already got his sights set on the number 28 of Ryan Dyson. And early on, some big moves shaking up the field, but up in front, Andrew Fash III has over half of a second on our second place driver, Corey Hoover. As you see right there, that would be the battle for first. Over 8/10 separate the two drivers there. Corey Hoover doing the best that he can early on, but Fayash has been a force to be reckoned with here all season long, Shane. He's had a couple races where he fell into some bad luck, and unfortunately that really did drag him down for about a race or two, but he immediately made a comeback after winning the first 3 races of the season.
Yeah, and he's definitely picking up where he left off at that point. He's been strong every week. It's just been a matter of luck and being there at the right place in the right time, and I think he's doing a nice job here of being out front, something we're accustomed to at least seeing him do, and hopefully he can stay up there at the front and, you know, obviously see if he can win this race.
Right now, the 0-2, he is down on pit road. Not sure what's going on with him. No damage on that car, so the 0-2 is down on pit road. Just want to take a look over here. That number 32 of Michael Finlayson. A big shout out to him, running the CFI colors out on that number 32 Ford Mustang here out tonight. Making a couple moves. Another driver I'm impressed with, Dalton Alexander, started way in the back there. I do believe you said he started last, and he's already got himself up into the top 20, running 19th right now.
Yeah, hopefully he's got that wheel situation sorted out from last week. That was pretty remarkable seeing how he was driving, and definitely could use a good run tonight to continue his mark there. Like I said, he did start 25th. He is up to 19th, and that car looks pretty good so far.
About that wheel situation, Shane, big update on that. We'll touch on it a little bit more later, but he's got himself a G25 on the way and a very feel-good story behind it, so when we get a chance later, we'll touch on that. But right now, we've got ourselves a big battle up towards the front of the field from about, I'd say, third on back, trying to get all in a wad here. Sean Powell's been falling back towards these guys right here. Justin Munseal leading this group of cars. and Corey Hoover pulling away from those guys as Sean Powell starts to fall back into the clutches of this group here.
Yeah, it's Andrew Fayash the third, Corey Hoover, and then the rest of the field. That they're just on their own planet, it seems like. Sean Powell is pulling away from this group a little bit. So is Justin Munseel. But then after that, Austin Hartenfels and Shane Terrian are kind of the guys leading that whole group of cars, and it's a pretty big group, too.
As we head over to the CFI Crank It Up cams, it's time to test out your surround sound. We are streaming live to Twitch, not in stereo, but 5.1 audio. Just taking a moment there, Shane. You really got to take in the sound and the thrills of being at these NASCAR events. Of course, on a simulator, definitely far from being there in real life by far. Take it from someone that's been to about 15 races. These things in real life, they're incredible, but here on iRacing, they've got the sounds about as close as you can get without actually blowing your eardrums.
Yeah, iRacing does a fantastic job getting the sounds literally as close as they can possibly be in the virtual world, and it's just amazing how far that technology has come, and now you can literally log on at any time at any given point in a day or week, and you can enjoy the sounds that these NASCARs have to offer at Richmond International Raceway, and you can do that from the comfort from your home. It's just amazing how far this technology has come to where we can do this today.
Big things happened this week on iRacing, Shane. Not only is this weekend the big 24-hour event, and that's going to be absolutely huge for iRacing, but they also finally got the release out on Steam, which is inviting a completely new market of people here to the simulation. And as we mentioned that, though, Justin Munseel up into that third position, up and around that number 10 24 Designs Camaro.
Yeah, Justin always showing that longer run speed. Showed it last week. He's showing it again this week up to the third spot, but he's got 5 seconds back to Andrew Fayash the third. Him and Corey Hoover have simply checked out from the rest of the field, running significantly faster lap times than everyone else, and they are quickly deciding themselves as the favorites so far.
Although Corey Hoover's got a lot of ground to make up, he's slowly been drifting back from Andrew Fayash, who has led the first 21 laps here on Checkered Flag Interactive. Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty up in the booth. It's going to be a pretty exciting race for some of these drivers after coming off of Montreal, which not only did it bring out the best in some of these guys, but it also demonstrated that it's great being at the ovals. For sure, they struggled. A lot of drivers struggled at Montreal last week. Up in the point standing, Andrew Fayash is 6 points ahead of Corey Hoover. Austin Hartenfels, much like last season, only 9 points behind Fayash, 3 behind Andrew. And then you've got a lot of cars right there. Andy Glazik, Ryan Dyson, they're just 6 points behind each other. However, they are about 40 points out from those leaders. And then you've got a couple drivers after that, about 70 points out there. Joseph Tice for the Rapolo brothers. And then Mark Murphy, Speed Demon Racing. And then Trevor Rapolo again for the Rapolo brothers. And then Sean Powell in that number 10. His first season out here on a consistent basis. And he's up in the top 10 in the standings.
Yeah, still relatively young in the season. Got quite a long ways to go, but definitely having a good start to your season is a good way to get the things rolling and keep the momentum going. And I think, especially for the guys up front, like talking about Andrew Fayas III and Corey Hoover up in the standings, that is big to get off to such a good start and then be able to keep the momentum going throughout the whole year.
So if this is your first time tuning in to CFI for the week, you have not seen this new ticker, head over to the Twitch chat that we've got up there. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you don't like, what you do like. And as we've mentioned, it's still a work in progress. It's more of a commodity here, giving it out to our leagues that we run week in, week out, letting them see what it's going to look like roughly when it's finished. Still got to do number plates here, and hopefully we might even get Upper Edge Media to get on top of that. Check them out on the web if you got a chance. Anything from iRacing cars to web design and more. Definitely check them out on the web.
Looks like our leader, Andrew Fayas III, getting ready to get into some lap traffic here. He's caught a couple of cars in front of him, and he's trying to make quick work of them. He went around Mario Gerard. Now it looks like he's trying to make work of the 16 of Michael Thompson. This is allowing Corey Hoover to close in a little bit.
Tense moments for our leader, Dalton Alexander, going a lap down on the outside, not giving too much of a fight. We've gone 30 laps here, caution free, so these guys fighting for that lucky dog. Dalton Alexander's going to try to follow through underneath that number 60. It's not going to happen, so he will not stay in that lucky dog position and throw the number 60 one lap down. And the number 16, Michael Thompson, not going to fall off very far there. And Thompson there, he's had a rough season, but he's shown that he's here and he's improving. Each and every week he's running just a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely. This is still a decent run for him. It is early, so there's always is the chance to race your way up into the lucky dog position when we get caution, if we do. And it's very possible. But so far, Andrew Fayas III putting on just a fantastic pace. He's got more cars coming in front of him of Duldrin, Boldrin, and Bruce Ackerman. He's getting ready to catch here sooner or later. But Corey Hoover, I just, both those guys cannot believe the pace they are on right now. They are just absolutely flying out there compared to the rest of the field.
So with that said, we are 33 laps up into this race to top 5. Andrew Fayas III, Corey Hoover, Justin Monsiel, Ryan Dyson, and Andy Glazik just now working his way up into the top 5. You are watching live on Checkered Flag Interactive. Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty, as always, up in the booth. Do not go away. We will be right back after the commercial break. Up on your screen, we are under caution here at Richmond International Raceway. For the first time here tonight, Bronson Stafford and Michael Finlayson finding themselves in a little bit of trouble here. Getting down to the corner, it looked like Bronson was just having a lot of trouble off of turns 3 and 4. And the number 32 Finlayson there just didn't really calculate that corner entry perfect, and a little bit of contact, and both drivers got sideways. Both drivers were able to save it, and a caution is out.
Yeah, both those cars, minimal damage, so they should be alright. Pull a fender or two, and they should be fine. Pretty normal for short track racing, it seems like. Most of your leaders are on pit road. Interesting to see if anybody does anything unusual. It looks like 4 tires and fuel for the entire brigade, and Andrew Fayash the third off of pit road, no problems as your leader.
Take another look. Just like we said, you know, these drivers driving it in there as hard as they can, trying to make up time, trying to make up positions, and when that leader's coming, sometimes you really got to put the pedal down, you got to put the pressure up, and unfortunately, just a slight issue, and neither driver really got much damage, so they'll be fine, get those cars back out there, and we might get a lucky dog, because you know how cautions work here on iRacing and in real life, Shane. Cautions seem to breed cautions.
Yeah, they definitely do, but we're going to get a couple of wave buys here that are going to elect not to pit, and we'll go back around the pace car and become back on the lead lap. That includes the 8 car of Duljan Boldrin, the 60 car of Elaine Krasinski, and the number 1 car of Dalton Alexander. All did not pit under this caution, and all will get their laps back here, and that will be good for them.
Yeah, they're counting on that caution coming out immediately soon here. If you can make it about 100 laps on fuel, depending on how cautions come out, tires, they don't really wear unless you really drive your car too hard, Shane. So when it comes down to the grand scheme of things, these guys out here not coming down pit road, as long as we get a caution within the next 15 laps, I do believe they'll be A-okay.
Yeah, you can go about 90 to 100 laps on fuel, so I think in their case, since they got already down a lap early, you might as well just stay out, give it a chance here. The likeliness that we do get another caution here shortly following this caution is pretty probable, and we'll see how that works out. They'll get the cue to go around the pace car this time. 1 to go as Andrew Fayash III resumes the lead, and got a couple of changes near the front, but not too many as Corey Hooper is still second.
Don't forget, you are watching the Kroger 175 live on Checkered Flag Interactive here Thursday nights, every Thursday night. Shane Doherty, Steve Bonesteel up in the booth bringing the action to you every single week. Pace car will be pulling off in just a moment there. There it goes, abrupt right-hand corner. And actually, I guess that would be a left, of course. And the green flag is up in the air. We are away and almost 3 wide right there behind him.
Yeah, that was an interesting start on the outside. Corey Hoover didn't quite get going as good as he wanted to. That kind of checked up the outside lane. Justin Munseal still third. Ryan Dyson through to fourth. Looks like everyone's going to sort it out there, but that was almost bad in a hurry. But there you go. They are sorting it out now.
Restart's always very tense at short tracks and always in racing when it comes down to it, point blank. Right now we've got a big wad of cars there mid-pack. Andy Glazik is starting out on that side right there with Shane Terrian up on his outside. He's going to fall back into the clutches. Number 2, Bradley Burke there trying to get up on the Navy back bumper, that Ford Mustang. Right there, Austin Hartenfeld's finding himself with a little bit of trouble on that outside wall. That's going to check that number 29 Chevy Camaro up for RCA Racing. Now he's going to dive it underneath of Shane Terrian there. The number 2, Bradley Burke's going to try to follow suit, and it looks like Shane's just going to stay up there in the middle lanes here and let these guys go on by here early on in this run. So far, we've got about 4 to 5 laps now, no caution, so things are not looking too bright unless something changes for those guys that decide to stay out and get that wave by.
Yeah, definitely not looking too great for them if we do end up going green for a while. We'll just have to see here, though, because the racing is going to eventually hype up here. So we're almost 50 laps into this event somehow, 175 laps on the night, and this can go by in a hurry. So we'll have to see who's going to bring it here late in the event as we continue to race on.
Oh, and there's the caution you guys needed.
Looks like a couple car accident on the back straightaway. We're going to have another look at that, see exactly what happened.
Yep, we caught it on the very tail end of one of our Crank It Up cams. Bronson Stafford and the number 4 finding some contact there coming off the corner. Leandro Schmidt and the number 4 and Bronson Stafford and that number 20. They got together and around Bronson went and into that inside wall. Not as bad as of amount of damage as I thought he would have had.
Yeah, he got lucky there. The 4 of Leandro Schmidt just clobbered the wall off turn 2 and ricocheted off. Nowhere for him, neither Bronson Stafford to go when they got together. Bronson's really lucky that that car is still alive at the point because he was headed straight for the inside wall, but it looped around and hit it with the rear end, so I think he'll be okay. They're going to have quite a lot of work to do on that car, but nonetheless, he is still running out there, and I think that itself is a good accomplishment.
And just like we said, that changes things for those drivers that took that wave by. They'll have a chance to come down pit road here, get 4 fresh Goodyear tires, a little bit of Sunoco Racing fuel, and they'll get back up there in the top part of the field, about the top half, choosing to stay out here. So they'll have just a bit of a neck up on these guys, and depending on how the cautions fly, they might even be able to stretch it to the end from here, but they're going to need about 3 to 4 cautions. And they're still going to need to pit for sure, but depending on how the rest of the field reacts, they might be able to find something out and maybe play some strategy here at Richmond. There's only so much you can do at these short tracks, but if you can find a way to manipulate the fuel, you can make something happen.
Yeah, definitely. They might be able to go a lot longer on fuel, but I'd say you're going to want tires sooner or later here. Going over 100 laps on tires at Richmond usually isn't a good thing, and especially when you consider a race like this where you have to get going early on. If you're slow at the beginning of the run, because you're on those older tires, you could get swallowed up, and you're definitely going to want to pit later in this race for tires, if not fuel.
We'll see if we can't get a chance here, either on the tail end of this caution. If the pace car lights don't go off, we'll try and talk to our in-race reporter there, Justin Munseal, the number 25. Hey Justin, it's Steve Bonesteel up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
I got you, Steve.
And just pulling you in here for the in-race reporter of the week. Right now you're running there in 3rd. You're looking pretty solid. You were down at 7th position at one point. You started 5th. How have these restarts been, and how has the racing been at this short track? It's been pretty exciting up here.
It's been fun. I was just trying to get used to the car. Guys got past me in a little incident, but I kind of got around those guys, and I was able to put on some good laps and chase down leaders before that caution. But the car is handling good. I'm pretty happy about it. I think I can compete for tonight's win, so it should be fun.
Alright, those pace car lights are off here, so we'll give you a chance to give a shout out to any sponsors, and we'll drive you back down to that driver's channel.
Gotta thank Sencal Beverage for sponsoring the car like always.
Alright, good luck here on this start. That's the voice of number 25, Justin Munseal.
And the pace car is getting ready to pull off here into turns 3 and 4. Nothing's changed up front. Andrew Fayash III still your leader. Corey Hoover still 2nd. And this is going to get interesting here. The top side did not go before. This time everything looks fine, and we are back to racing.
These guys going to be diving it down into 1 and 2. Very tense moment. A little bit of contact, a little bit of smoke there. Ryan Dyson getting a tiny tap from behind there. Looking like Shane Terrian, I think that was who got in the back of him. Not entirely sure, but that could have been very tense in front of the field. These guys still driving 2 by 2 around this short track.
Yeah, I actually see damage on the front of Justin Unseal's car, and that might have been from Ryan Dyson. They're all trying to fight for that inside line, surprisingly, and make contact there.
Number 10, or no, actually the number 2, Bradley Burke up in the outside wall there. He's going to drop some positions, fall back in the clutches of the major group of the cars out here. Interesting enough, Shane, Michael Finlayson, that number 32, is all the way up in 9th position. Pit strategy must have come up in the play there, taking two tires on that last stop. But he's got a lot of competition around him there. Joseph Tice on the inside, as well as Bradley Burke. Even with that right side damage, these cars should be quite competitive here, as this is a short track, so damage is only going to hurt you if you really beat it up or knock that toe out. Almost 3 wide up there behind him. Mark Murphy just getting around these guys as they continue to fight right there behind him.
They're still going at it here. Michael Finlayson actually backing up a little bit now. He's getting past, and now going to try and see if Trevor Rapolo is going to try and stick his nose underneath there. Mark Murphy trying to follow through as well. So what was looking good for Michael Finlayson is starting not to look as great as he's headed toward the back of the field.
Chris Scala getting up on the groove there, knocking the number 60 Michael Thompson up by the wall. We zoom back into this battle right here. As you said, Shane, the number 32 really falling back there. Mark Murphy drives it in the corner really hard. The number 8 is going to dive underneath of him, pick up 1 position there. Every position counts. Mark Murphy with the block on Bruce Ackerman. That number 7 Lowe's Camaro almost running over the number 48.
Had some really tense moments back up front for the 3rd spot as Justin Munseal got into the back of Ryan Dyson. What does Ryan do? Lets him go and then gives him a shot in the bumper. A little bit of short track action there, and I don't think Ryan's that upset, but to be honest, it's short track racing. If you're not fast, you're usually out of the way. The whole saying, slide or be slid, really does apply to this place, and we're seeing that in action here up front.
As we just take a look at this battle, Ryan Dyson, that 4th position right now, trying to get back up to the 3rd position. He's had a tough season for sure, Shane. He's seen some good, he's seen some bad, and it just really seems like this season specifically has been pretty heartbreaking. He's had a lot of good runs, just a lot of bad luck.
Yeah, but the good advantage for him is that it is a long season, and he will have a chance to make some of that up with some strong runs. It's just not impossible that he can make it up. He can make it up is what I'm trying to say, but eventually some of these guys in the top of the standings are going to have problems. It's just a fact of human nature. You can't be perfect and win every race and lead every lap. There will be some things that will shake up later in the season. When that will be, I have no idea, but Ryan Dyson obviously just going to have to keep digging, and he might put himself back in a chance here before long.
As we give you guys a look at the action around the track here, multiple new camera angles, we've been putting them in left and right here, trying all kinds of new things on CFI. If you need a broadcast, make sure you head over to Checkered Flag Interactive on Facebook, send them a message, and if you don't do Facebook, send them an email, checkeredflaginteractive@gmail.com. Tense battling here. Shane Terrian on the outside of Andy Glazik. Number 2, Bradley Burke up on the wall again with a little bit of contact from Mark Rapolo there for that 10th position. Mark sitting there in 10th, trying to peer in on that 9th spot as he's worked his way up into the top 10 now.
Yeah, this whole battle between Andy Glazik and Shane Terrian starting to really ramp up as here comes Austin Hartenfels, who's surprisingly running outside the top 5, something we're not accustomed to seeing him, and he is trying to get onto the inside there of his teammate Joseph Thies, closely following them, but that is currently the closest battle on the racetrack.
Austin Hartenfeld starting a lot further back than he's used to here at Richmond International Raceway. He started 9th, and he's only gotten his way up just in the top 5 there at 4th for a little while. And he's really been struggling. That number 29's been up into the wall about 2 or 3 times here today, Shane. So right now, Austin Hartenfels has a handful going around this tricky little short track here, but I think he's still got plenty of time. For sure, we've already got over 100 laps left, so plenty of time to make some changes on your driving style. Of course, this race is a fixed setup, so you can't really do anything to setup, but you can change how you're driving.
Yeah, as we're continuing to watch this battle, I'm actually starting to see more cars catch up and forming like a mini pack of some sorts as Austin Hartenfels gets the nick of the wall there off turn 4. And he might be able to lose some spots here, unfortunately. He's trying to work that outside, seeing just how effective the outside can be at this point. He is hanging on for dear life, but I think he'd rather be in the inside lane and continue to battle for that 6th spot.
Contact there, Bradley Burke getting in the side of the number 5, Joseph Tice. That's going to check him up there on that outside line. The number 2 diving underneath of Austin there. He's going to make the pass. Andy Glazik slipped on by just a moment ago. Some move. Bradley Burke up into the top 10 again.
Yeah, Austin Hartenfeld's really struggling with that car. Back down to 8th now, but he seems like he's having a really tough time getting off turn 4. He's been into the wall a couple of times, got a little sideways there. So we'll see if he can kind of correct the handling before long here, since we're accustomed to seeing him usually battle for the win here with Corey Hoover, and now he's kind of struggling tonight. But eventually everyone's going to have one of those nights where they're just not up to par with what they usually do, and you can always use strategy and just making it through to the end of the race to possibly coop with the loss of speed. But so far that seems to be a pretty good battle, as there's a lot of cars lined up in a line now.
Hopping on.
Now we got a spin on the front straightaway with number 3 car, I believe. Mark Rapola's around. Austin Hartenfeld's got a piece of the wall unrelated. Sorry to cut you off there, Steve, but yet another caution.
Pulling up the replay there on your screen, taking a look at what happened. You see Mark Rapolo there on your screen, that number 3. Catching that outside wall. Trevor Rapolo, the number 9, having nowhere to go, spinning out his teammate there, the number 3. Got a little bit of right rear damage, or excuse me, left rear damage. I guess you can't really, I don't know my rights and lefts here tonight, Shane, but as we come to 100 laps to go, the number 3, Mark Rapolo's got a little bit of damage on that. He just cracked his way up into the top 10, and now he's going to be struggling outside the top 15.
Yeah, maybe what we didn't catch there is that the 29 Austin Hartenfels once again hit the wall. He was unrelated to the wreck, but that is yet another time that we had an incident on the front straightaway. Most of the leaders now come down pit road. Looks like everybody is going to be on pit road. Yes, they will. Maybe some wave bys, but interesting to see here if we see 2 tires or 4 tires or even no tires. That wasn't a long run, so we're just going to have to see here as Andrew Fayas III leads him down.
As we pull up the pit stop times on your screen right there, you see the left side, the right side now down, and now the left side up again, struggling with those lefts and rights. Shane Terry going to be the first one off of pit road, and then the number 77, Andrew Fash, with a 14.6 second pit stop.
Yeah, what looks like happened there is that Shane kind of slid through his pit stall, so they called an audible. And they only took 2 tires, so he will be the new leader after all of that. He will jump to first from 6th, so that's going to be interesting to see what he can do there. But yeah, Andrew Fayash III will fall to 2nd there with that slow stop.
I briefly talked about it earlier, Shane, and now it's the top 5 up on your screen. Mike Tellier right now, the number 97, not coming down quite yet. Shane Terry in 2nd, Andrew Fayash 3rd. Chris Scala, the number 88, in 4th, and then Corey Hoover rounding out that top 5. I talked about it very briefly earlier on about Dalton Alexander and the journey he's been on for the past week. I am the car owner there and the team owner for that number 1 moto option machine. And we've been getting all ready for the 24-hour races here on iRacing, and Dalton's been having a lot of trouble with the wheel. We talked about it last week. He had to use a Microsoft Xbox 360 controller last week. He did pretty decent with it, all things considered. But getting into this week, we've got the team together, and I've brought in 2 new faces, actually 3 or 4 new faces, and we've got our new teammate, and his name's Beto. He's a very cool guy, very experienced road racer, on and off of the sim in real life as well. And we were talking one night, and he was talking about, well, what's wrong with your wheel, Dalton? And he's like, oh, I've got a $30 Thrustmaster wheel. And he was like, well, I've got these 2 wheels sitting around, a G25 and some other club sport wheel. And Dalton's like, well, how much do you want to sell it for? And at first it was like, you know, I'll pay $100, and then from that point on, I was like, you know what, you cover the shipping, Dalton, and I'll send it off to you. Very cool.
Yeah, that's a great story there. Wow, and that's a really good job. I actually had someone do that for me beforehand. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, James Ray, great individual. He sent me his pedals a couple of years ago, and that was amazing. Actually catapulted me, because I was on those old DFGT pedals, plastic ones. I don't know if anyone uses those anymore, but once you get to like the metal pedals, they're still nowhere near real life, but they are a lot better than plastic, and it's really amazing the kind of people you can meet on iRacing. So much generosity. It's just so cool to see. Really an amazing community to be a part of.
Pace car lights are off, and we will be getting down to the green flag here. There's the pace car making the abrupt left-hander. Shane Terrian on the inside. Andrew Fashion outside, stacking it up on that inside line. Crazy restart so far.
Yeah, kind of stacked it up there. First time someone other than Andrew Fash III was the leader. Now we're going to have to see if that outside lane can work. Shane Terrian working the inside, Andrew Fash III working the outside, but Andrew's going to lose that second spot to Corey Huber as there's more battles in the back half of the field. I know we got a wreck in the back, huge wreck as everyone's involved, pretty much 15th on back, couple cars turned around into the wall. That was a big wreck.
Oh, and right at the end there, Austin Hartenfeld's getting slammed hard by Bronson Stafford, that number 20. We'll pull up the replay there. Austin's definitely a little bit rattled there, knocking into the number 20 after that.
Yeah, there was all kinds of mayhem going on through that wreck, and we actually saw some car go into the pit wall. That was Michael Finlayson. Oh no, turned over on his side, and then several cars got into each other. Even saw some go around. Bruce Ackerman pinned up against the wall. But yeah, that's a huge wreck, and I think we're going to see probably some short track tempers boil out over after that one.
Take another look at what happened there for the number 32 of Michael Finlayson. You see the number 7 slip up the track, get into the number 8. Those guys go around. The number 32, Finlayson there in the CFI machine, just gets into that inside wall and over he goes. We'll take a look on the onboard camera for that one. Yep, you see him, he gets into that wall in that car, the way iRacing did it up, just flipped him right up on his roof, and that's that.
Yeah, it's too bad. He got the worst of it by far because he is unable to continue probably after that huge rollover, but several other cars with a lot of damage, and Austin Hartenfeld is probably the big name caught up in that one there at the end with contact from Bronson Stafford, and they're still mad at each other because they're coming out of the pits right next to each other and now kind of separating themselves. But that is a huge wreck to be a part of, and that's going to take out a couple of key guys we've seen so far this season.
Yeah, that's going to be very detrimental to that number 29 Austin Hartenfeld. He's going to dive down pit road once again. Now that we've got another caution here, we're going to head off to a quick commercial break. Do not go away. Checkered Flag Interactive with Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty will be back here from Richmond Raceway for the Kroger 175. Do not go away. Back live here at the track. The base car lights are off. Steve Bonesteel, Shane Torty returning up here in the booth. 84 laps into this race right now. It's been a very eventful race so far for some of these drivers in good ways and in bad ways.
Yeah, Shane Terrian's still the leader, and he will elect the inside lines. We're going to have to see how this restart is. The last one kind of stacked him up and caused some mayhem eventually in the next lap, and we'll see how this one goes as the pace car pulls off. Field brought to the attention of Shane Terrian. We are green flag racing.
Again, a little bit of a stack up at the beginning of the field there on this restart. These guys choosing to go at different times. Almost looking 3 wide there for that second spot. He's going to think twice about it. Andrew Fash drops down to that second position. Single file through the top 5 there, diving it down into 3 and 4. Things looking strong at the front, but do not close your eyes, Shane. Do not even think about blinking, because you've got yourself a very hungry number 77 on your back bumper.
Yeah, he's got 4 fresh tires, probably the fastest car on the racetrack. And been leading most of this event, looking for the lead, but Shane Terrian doing a nice job of just holding the inside line, pacing himself, and he's actually holding his ground pretty well here so far. I would not have expected him to be still in the lead this far into the run.
Yeah, that number 38, as we mentioned, he ended up taking 2 tires on that last pit stop there. Now Andrew Fash going down on the inside line. That's going to allow for the preferred line going down in 3 and 4. It's going to be a race there now. Shane Terrian up on that outside. There, Corey Hoover following through, trying to get down underneath him. He will be very successful there, diving it down in turns 1 and 2. Justin Munseal, our in-race reporter, cracking into the picture there. He's going to try and follow through as well. That number 25 Ford Mustang, sponsored by Ford, is looking underneath that Navy number 38 Mustang, and he's going to get there, and they will be side by side. Shane Terrian getting stuck up on the outside. There's Andy Glazik now, and he's going to fall all the way out of the top 5.
Yeah, it's just a never-ending train right now, it seems like, for Shane Terrian. He's just going to have to find a spot in line. It looks like that isn't going to open up until Trevor Rapolo gets by him, and that is the 7th spot. Shane will elect to, I believe, just let these guys go here soon and then fall in line and try and see what he can do there. He's obviously on 2 tires and in the outside lane, so not making much ground.
Now Austin Hartenfeld is currently struggling quite a bit there, Shane. He is in 19th position, 1 lap down. He is the first car 1 lap down. But it has been a very long time since we have seen Austin struggle like he is today. He's been having a hard time with the set. He got himself in a very bad situation. He ended up getting clobbered by Bronson Stafford earlier. And just so much action happening around all the track, and he just know where he can go.
Yes, we actually saw the 32 car of Michael Finlayson on the bottom half of the apron there. That car went over, and it's already back on the racetrack. Pretty good job there. Off the pace, obviously, but still just kind of trucking around there, as a lot of cars are. A lot of cars really damaged and just trying to hang on right now. Caution comes out here. It benefits Austin Hartenfeld, though. He would get the lucky dog and would get a chance to get 4 fresh tires and some more damage fixed.
If you are just now tuning in, you are watching Checkered Flag Interactive. Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty for the Upper Edge Racing Crescent Moon Contracting Sportsman Series here. Every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, we get things kicked off. These guys having an eventful race here at Richmond Raceway, race number 8 on the season. We've got plenty of more racing to go. And these guys, definitely short track tempers might have started to heat up here, but if you've got a chance, this is the first time you've tuned in to CFI this week, a new ticker up on the boards. And if you can, head over to the Twitch chat and give us a shout. What do you think? What do you think of the broadcast? What do you think of the ticker? How does everything sound as the caution's out?
Looks like Duljan Boldrin's going to go around with some help from Elaine Krasinski.
Pulling up the replay there, you see him diving it down into the corner. The number 8 on inside of the number 60, Elaine Krasinski, just outside that top 10. A little bit of damage there. That number 8, he gets down to the Marco Polo. A little bit of net code there. Mark didn't seem to get any damage. So that number 8, he'll get straightened back up, and Duljan Boldrin, and that number 8 will probably have to get it down pit road, and we'll have to see if anyone else chooses to come down pit road under caution here.
Looks like everybody's coming down pit road. That's a huge surprise, and that might be a good chance to see some strategy unfold here because we only went a couple of laps. Really surprised that everyone decided to come down pit road there, but we'll just have to see what everyone elects to do.
Pit stop times again up on your screen. Looks like everyone's taking 4 tires towards the front of the field. Very slow pit stop for Corey Hoover, over 15 seconds. Justin Munseal, though, not sure how, but he was able to crank it out with under an 11-second stop. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's definitely a good job for that crew, and it gets them all the way up to second here, and we'll be on the front row for the restart.
Looks like, unfortunately, not entirely sure, but it looks like that number 29, Austin Hartenfels, is going to remain 1 lap down, Shane.
Yeah, he did end up pitting with the leaders, and I don't understand what was going on there. He's now slow on the apron, so kind of confused what's going on at the moment, but he was supposed to be the lucky dog, and apparently he is not.
That is very tough for that number 29, keeping him 1 lap down. He's going to be around a lot of the other lap down cars who might have a little bit less damage. They might be able to stay in front of him, and if we go green from this point on, that number 29 is going to have a tough night. Only 9 points out from that points lead. Andrew Fayash is 6 points ahead from the second place driver on the point standings, Corey Hoover.
Yeah, and he's now going to be racing some cars for the lucky dog spot is Mario Gerard, who's got a lot better looking race car compared to Austin Hartenfels. Damage-wise is now the first car 1 lap down. So now Austin's going to have to get up on the wheel and race for it at this point because we don't know how many cautions we're going to have from here on out. So far, we haven't been able to go very far. We're just going to have to see because you never want to get caught a lap down at the end of a race and never get that caution to get back on the lead lap.
And as a driver, that's something you've always got to fear. I know when we get out there racing some of the best drivers on iRacing week in, week out, Shane, I know it's something I always struggle with, making the calls up on the spotter stand for you. And sometimes you can make strategy work and you can get lucky, but our teammate this week, he found himself in trouble as number 29 gets the wave by there. Not sure exactly what happened, but he's ended up getting get that wave by anyhow and end up on the lead lap. But it's just, you can make your strategy call all you want, but when it comes down to it, you're just playing a luck.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand what Austin was doing there, but he's finally back on the lead lap after that. But yeah, you never know how strategy goes at a track like this. Track position seems to be a good thing to favor. We're just going to have to see how that all plays out towards the end of this race. Pace car pulls off. Justin Munseal on the inside because Andrew Fash III, your leader, elects the outside lane. Green flag.
Crank it up on this restart as we blast the 5.1 surround sound. Caution coming out. See the number 97, Mike Tellier, he ended up getting turned around, going into 1 and 2. We'll take a look, the replay up on your screen. I saw the number 7, Bruce Ackerman, he went around as well, I do believe. That was actually the number 9 of Trevor Rapolo. Bronson Stafford getting in it again. Now let me tell you, the number 32, Michael Finlayson there, take a look at how close he came.
Yeah, that is crazy luck almost there. Not like that car hasn't had any so far, but he did a nice job of getting through that. He is 10 laps down, but still got to award those style points for getting through that wreck.
Yeah, unfortunately for a lot of drivers, including the number 20. You just can't avoid those cautions. Bronson Stafford been slammed on both sides. You see all the quarter panels on that number 20 Ford Mustang is pretty beat up.
Yeah, still fighting though. Got all that damage, still in the lead lap, still fighting, but I think the whole story of that wreck was just miscommunication. Apparently Joseph Thies did not realize they were 3 wide and kind of got into the side of Ryan Dyson. That triggered the whole wreck, and now Ryan's going to have a decent amount of damage. He's on pit road trying to get that fixed, so that's another big name having some problems here at Richmond.
Although who it really ended up benefiting is that number 29 of Austin Hartenfels. Move him up now to 13th. I mean, just 5 laps ago he was sitting there, that lowest position on your screen. Yeah, that was him 5 laps ago, 1 lap down.
Yeah, he has fresher tires than a lot of the guys up front because he pitted pretty much at the same time, but has been in the back half of the field not battling anybody. Now he's actually up to 11th spot as a couple more cars elect to come down pit road. So we're going to have to see how much speed is left in Austin's car. He did get hit pretty hard on the right side on that initial big wreck involving Michael Finlayson and Bronson Stafford at the time. So if he can stay up to pace here, he might still have a good shot at a top 10.
As things run, though, we are going to head over to a quick commercial break. Do not go away. Checkered Flag Interactive, Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty for the Kroger 175 here, the Upper Ed CMC Sportsman Series. We will be right back.
Back here live at Richmond International Raceway, Andrew Fayash III getting ready to lead the field back down to green. Just over 100 laps complete, under 75 to go. Getting at actually at about 70 laps to go this time by. Corey Hoover to the outside, green flag is out, and we are back racing.
Good start for Andrew Fayash, making those early restarts there. He's going to dive it down into 1 and 2, making that loop up by the wall. This guy's going 2 by 2 right behind him there. Number 48, Mark Murphy, he has been up and down all night long, but there he is, working his way up into that top 5 again.
Caution out once again, got a wreck in the back half of the field.
Bronson Stafford once again getting caught up in some big-time troubles here.
Yeah, it looks like him and Bruce Ackerman going to have some problems here. Going ahead and bring up the replay for after that one.
Going up at the chopper here, we'll take a look at that entire restart and see what happened. The number 20, he's got plenty of damage. That number 7 as well has quite a bit of damage, so we'll see what happened going through 1 and 2. Very slow, that number 20, just getting pinched by the number 7, really. Nothing he could do there. The number 7 goes around, loops it in front of those guys. He's going to go up into the outside wall. The number 24 just barely sneaks on by there, Bradley Grant Davis.
Yeah, that's just another wreck where happened in an instance in the back half of the field, trying to go for one of those spots early on and just not enough room between the two, and yet again got some cars beaten and mangled, but that is part of short track racing. If you can continue on, and it looks like both cars will, You still have a chance. So hopefully Bronson can get his car repaired, though. He looks like he's trying, but that car is pretty beat up after all the wrecks it's been in.
Big time bummer here for the race itself. We started off and we went about 50 to 60 laps. We were green flagged there at the beginning of this race. Plenty of action as well. And now we've kind of fallen into a pit where we're kind of getting caution after caution. A lot of good drivers getting caught up in this too. So I'm sure they're definitely out here and they're not very happy.
Looks like we'll get the one to go this time by. Field will double file up. There it is, green flag back in the air. Andrew Fash III leads them off. Corey Hoover trying to secure the inside there from second spot. A little bit of a battling back half of the field. Mark Murphy trying to make some outside gains against Justin Mansell. It looks like everyone's going to sort it out here early on.
A lot of drivers moving back and forth down that back straightaway. Justin Mansell, our in-race reporter, down along that inside Mark Murphy. Now Shane Terrian trying to crack his way back up into that top 5. He's able to make the pass on Andy Glasik, get that 5th position back, but now he's got to hold it off as hard charging Andy Glasik's right on his back bumper.
Look at Austin Hartenfels back into the top 10, back into the 8th spot, now trying to get even further up, and he will complete the pass for 7th, so the 29 car really making some gains on this restart, looking to be back to life.
Very impressive course of events here for Austin Hartenfels there. He's been just showing that these guys, I mean, he went one lap down and he's toughed it out, and now he's back on the lead lap.
Starting to see some separation up front. Andrew Fash III, Corey Hoover starting to check away. Justin Mansell is kind of establishing his pace, and Shane Terrian up to 4th here, trying to hold off the rest of these guys, and now looks like Andy Glasik's going to try and look for that 4th spot. Now, like shot out of a cannon, Andy Glasik and Austin Hartenfels combined to go all the way up into the 4th and 5th spots. They're into the top 5, the best they've been running all day. That is impressive.
Definitely very impressed with not only Austin Harnfels, but his teammate there in RCA Racing, number 19, Andy Glazik.
Looks like Ryan Dyson's going around in the back. Speaking of RCA Racing, he's going to get tagged from behind Michael Thompson. And that is a multi-car accident.
We'll head up into the chopper, the CFI chopper that is, going through 1 and 2. We'll take a look at what happened. Joseph Tice right there. Oh, that was net code for sure, Shade. If you take a look from above, you can see he had a little bit of room there.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. Taking a second look at that. That is interesting. He does get into him, but unfortunately both those cars still involved in the wreck. And that is definitely not what Ryan Dyson wanted to see. His night of going pretty good is now probably the worst he's had in a while, just not able to catch a break. Looks like most of the leaders will come down pit road this time. I believe Dalton Alexander is going to stay out here.
We are now working our 8th caution here, 36 laps out of the 120 we've had so far here today, under caution. That definitely translates to a very brutal race, but like you said, Dalton Alexander's worked his way. A little bit of pit strategy, a little bit of racing, a little bit of both, and now he's back up in the top 5, but he's got some damage on that number 1.
Yeah, we'll see what he does here. If he just leads the lap, or maybe get a bonus point and then come down pit road, we'll just have to see. But looks like Andrew Fash III will not be the first car off pit road. Mark Murphy's going to decide to take 2 tires, and he will be the winner off of pit road. Now the decision will be is if he will restart second to Dalton Alexander, or if he will restart first if Dalton Alexander comes down pit road. We'll just have to see here in the next couple of laps.
Dalton Alexander will go down pit road. And Mark Murphy, with a fan out in the crowd rooting for him here, he will be up, working into the lead now.
Definitely going to be interesting to see here. Another car on 2 tires that will be the leader to restart the event. Shane Terrian looked like he held up pretty well there at the beginning of that time, but then eventually fell back. We'll see what Mark Murphy's got now on these 2 tires.
Familiar sight as those pace car lights are off. We are ready to take the green flag.
And here we go, green flag back in the air. Mark Murphy on the outside lane gets a rocketing start. And it looks like he will be leader into turn number 1. Andrew Fash III fights into second.
Austin Hartenfels all the way up there is Bradley Burke in the wall again. A very familiar sight here. Andrew Fayash all over the back bumper, the number 48. But we're going to have 3 wide here on the front straightaway. Will it stick in 1 and 2 here? Looks like it will for a brief second there. Austin Hartenfeld's checking up Shane Terrian back in the back bumper of Andy Glazik.
Yeah, all kinds of carnage going on here. Mark Murphy's going to give up the second spot to Corey Hoover as Corey slides on by. Two tires not doing Mark much justice, but he's still Mansell into the wall hard there. Going to lose a spot to Andy Glazik. We're going to see how damaged that car is.
That is unfortunate. Our in-race reporter there, the number 25 Ford Mustang, very hard hit. That could have knocked the toe out just a little bit, but it looked to be a pretty flush tap to that outside wall. Andrew Fayash out in front now, 4/10 over Corey Hoover.
Yeah, Justin Mansell hit the wall again off turn 4, and now he's going to lose a spot to Bradley Burkett, it seems, and just not doing good. See if that car can continue to keep pace. But yeah, Andrew Fayash, the third, back in the lead, and he's pulling away from Corey Hoover, who's also pulling away from the rest of the field and Mark Murphy. But Austin Hartenfeld's up to the 4th spot. Who would have ever known, out of the pace he was running earlier with the damaged car he's got now, he'd be inside the top 10, inside the top 5, and possibly the top 3 soon here.
Plenty of racing action going on for third position. Now Austin Hartenfeld's working around Andy Glazik, but Andy's not giving up on that inside line chain. A little bit of contact there off the corner. Mark Murphy, that number 48, getting loose.
Yeah, Mark is on those 2 tires, but Austin Hartenfeld's gotten to the wall a little bit there the last time around. He's okay now, and I guess he's just going to try and follow his teammate Andy Glazik, who does not have any damage on that car, just trying to keep it nice and steady. But all of a sudden starting to see some Camaro fever up front. It's the first 4 cars in this event now are Chevy Camaro.
Hartenfeld's now under attack by Mark Murphy, even on older tires. That number 48's looking sporty, Shane. Very impressive for Mark Murphy tonight.
Yeah, he's doing well on those 2 tires. Hasn't fallen back quite as much as Shane Terrian did beforehand. He's up to 4th, and he's staying there so far. Doing a nice job here inside the top 5, and 2 tires it seems like will work. If you can find an opening and kind of just settle down and run your pace. Doesn't seem like they have too big of an effect on the actual speed of the car.
The field's pretty much single file there. Ryan Dyson, he's got a very beat up car, Shane. He is on 1 lap down there, and as you can tell, all 4 quarter panels all beat up on that baby. And the upper edge media Chevy Camaro, they're just having a tough night here. Is there some smoke on the front straightaway? Someone on pit road.
Believe it is Trevor Rapolo, and it is the number 9 car of Trevor Rapolo. The engine expiring on that car. Tough luck. It's kind of running around the racetrack, putting around, trying to get to the finish, but it looks like it finally let go. And that's going to be unfortunate for Trevor. That should end his race.
Mark Murphy making the pass on Austin Hartenfeld's. He turned the heat up on that battle. Now Austin going for the crossover. He's going to think about it once there and get back behind him, going down the back straightaway. Mark Murphy, that number 48, with 39 laps to go, and now 38, looking very strong here.
Yeah, on those 2 tires up to the 3rd spot, actually moving forward now. What a call that is seemingly to be for Mark Murphy. And Austin Hartenfeld's is on 4 tires and fresher tires and has had a good car all of a sudden, and now he slips back to 4th, and Now we're starting to see Justin Munseal all the way back up to 5th. He clobbered the wall earlier in the run, and now he's coming back and is looking to possibly take away the 4th spot.
But right now, Corey Hoover, this is the closest we've seen the battle for the lead all race long. He's just right on that back bumper there on board of the front of the number 33, Corey Hoover. You can see that back bumper of the number 77 is just an arm's length away as he dives down into turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, Corey's been always a couple of tenths of a second off of Andrew Fayash under the long run. Now he takes a peek. Andrew's going to shut the door here, but Corey Hoover putting on a lot better pace than we've seen of him so far. Maybe he's trying to bring it here late. We're under 40 laps to go, as you mentioned before, Steve, and this is when you're actually going to have to start moving forward if you're going to want to finish well.
Now, right now on the point standing, there's only about 6 points separating these two drivers. A win for Corey Hoover and a bad night for Andrew Fayash would have been ideal for Corey Hoover. And then Austin Hartenfell's 9 points out from that lead. He definitely wants at least Andrew Fayash to have a little bit of a tough night to tighten things up here. We're only 8 races in, so there's plenty of racing left on this season. However, you cannot ever let yourself get behind.
Yeah, I think Andrew Fayash III, pretty safe to say he's locked up those bonus points for most laps. He's already led a lap. He can collect max points tonight if he wins, and so far it looks like he's got a good case of argument to make for that, but Corey Hoover's still right behind him, about 2 or 3 tenths of a second off of him right now. Just kind of stalking him at this point as we're getting later in the race.
Yeah, Corey Hoover at the beginning of this race, Shane, he didn't look as strong as he does now. He's definitely coming out with everything that he's got. That number 33 has looked very quick over the past 10 laps or so. Even I'd say if he... Oh, and the caution comes out. Bradley Burke and Mark Murphy.
Yeah, that's very interesting. They were around the top 5 when that happened. It was actually a battle for 4th. Justin Munseal had gotten by Mark Murphy, and it looks like Bradley Burke went to the inside and did not successfully make that pass. Both those cars go around.
Now that right there is a very unfortunate miscalculation on both drivers, and that's going to hurt them great. They're having a very good race so far.
Yeah, it actually looked like Mark Murphy kind of pinched coming through turns 1 and 2. Didn't give enough room to Bradley Burke, and then they got into each other there. Can't really fault anybody there, just trying to race hard, and unfortunately ran out of room, and both those cars are going to have some damage now, and they lose their top 5 track position. Looks like all of the leaders are on pit road. 4 tires, I would assume, from most. Will we see others take 2 tires? And it looks like Austin Hartenfels is going to take 2 tires along with Andy Glazik. Another interesting strategy move here late in the race.
And you never know here with 29 laps to go. To head over to a quick commercial break. Do not go away. Chicken Flag Interactive will be right back. Pace car lights are off. Here we will be reset with exactly 25 laps to go.
Austin Hartenfeld's on those 2 tires along with his teammate Andy Glazik make up the front row. Green flag action once again. This is going to get interesting.
These guys, the intensity's definitely raised up here. Justin Monseal making some moves. Andrew Fayash all the way up to the lead now. Those 2 tires not working out so well in the beginning of this start here. Austin Hartenfeld's all the way up by the wall, as well as Andy Glazik cautions out.
Got some cars turned around in the front straightaway. Bradley Burke, one of them, but that is another wreck here in the late going of the race.
Yeah, these guys were dicing for position. And it looked like Brad tried to check up too, and it just went around on him.
Yeah, it's a tough break for Bradley. He's been to the wall a couple of times today, but that ultimately probably the worst case for him so far. He'll drop to the last car on the lead lap in 18th. But there are a lot of beating and banging cars out there just trying to make it to the end of the race. They got pretty much parts falling off of them. Well, if iRacing does get parts falling off of them, they would, but it's just a huge race that is just continuously having all these cars getting damaged. It's amazing how many are still running.
Top 5 there on your screen. Andrew Fash the third up in front here, 20 laps to go. Corey Hoover second, Austin Hartenfeld's third. Big comeback for him. Justin Monseal fourth, and then rounding out that top 5 there, you see Andy Glazik there in the number 19.
Seems like every restart we get, the intensity hypes up even more, and now with 20 laps to go, it's only going to get more intense at this point. Could we see several more cautions? I have no idea, but I see Andrew Fash the third and Corey Hoover 1 and 2. They've been that way all night. Who's going to rise to the occasion and be the best car at the end of the race?
Pace car lights are off again. 19 coming to 18 laps to go. We are going to be getting the green flag there. There goes the pace car, and the number 77, the number 33 up on the front row. There goes Andrew Fayash there, the inside line. Austin Hartfeld is going to have a nice entry there. Justin Munseal, big time move by him, trying to get down to that bottom line. Corey Hoover driving it through the middle of the corner there, middle line, and he's going to get that drive off, and he's going to be able to pull down in line in front of that number 29.
Andrew Fash the third does a nice job there, getting back into the lead. Corey Hoover back up to second. Here comes his teammate Austin Hartenfeld to the outside now. They try for second, but Andrew Fash the third pulling away right now for the lead. We are continuing to boil down here. All the cars single file now.
Everyone's still single file there on your screen, coming to 15 laps to go. This is that part of the race where you cannot let the leader get away. Corey Hoover there in second. Not only did he get ran down by his teammate there with the damaged car for a moment, but now he's starting to let Andrew Fash, that number 77, start to pull away. Look at Shane Terrian though, Shane.
Yeah, qualified second on the front row as we see a car get loose in the back, saves it all good, but Shane qualified on the front row. He's been up there. He's currently inside the top 5, but he's going to lose a couple of spots. There's Joseph Thies. Haven't seen him all day, but he's peaking late, having a nice run, and has a chance at a top 5 here. And always we just say that, he gets loose. Loses it a little bit. Jinxed him there. Sorry, Joseph. That's going to be tough to overcome there. Tough break for Joseph.
Ryan Dyson, though, with a very beat-up car just now falling outside that top 10, trying to fight for it there with Dalton Alexander, that number 1, that moto option, hanging strong on the outside right now. And I've got a feeling he might be able to get back in that top 10 as things go on. Back up to the front, though, Corey Hoover is chased down our leader, and it's going to be a battle here as we're coming pretty close to those final 10 laps.
And he shuts the door as Andrew Fash the third on Corey Hoover. Corey is there. That is amazing how he's been lagging back a little bit. Seems like he's a little bit slower, but now he's here and he's banging down the back bumper. He's banging down the door. He wants into the lead. Who's going to get it here? Here he goes again to the inside. Andrew's trying to block the door. He's there, but he does anyways. More battling.
And he's underneath of him here, drag racing it down the back stretch. He's not going to quite get there going into turns 3 and 4. And it's just a battle right now. His teammate Austin Hartenfeld has fallen off the pace by about a second, getting passed now by our in-race reporter. Justin Munseal moves up into that 3rd position. And don't count any of these drivers out. There's still time for at least one more caution. And it's going to be an eventful little bit of this race here as we're coming to 9 to go. Saw there the gap between 2nd and 3rd, just over a full second. Justin Munseal's got a lot of ground to make up. I don't think he's going to be able to do it unless we get a caution, and I don't think unless something happens that's big, I think these drivers might just be pretty much set for the majority of it. But Justin Munseal is coming, Shane, and he is trying to make his run back up to the front, but right now Andrew Fayash up in the front spot. He is doing a great job.
Justin Munseal, he's going to need Corey Hoover to be a friend here and get beside Andrew Fash, get him battling, slow down their lap times, and give Justin a chance. If that doesn't happen, I don't think he can reach him in time unless we get a caution. At this point, though, that's just not going to happen. Andrew Fash the third in command of this race. Can he hold him off?
Only 7 laps to go, now 6 as they cross the line right there. You are watching the Kroger 175. The final moments here as we've got a very eventful little bit of this race coming up.
I think Corey kind of gave it all he got and just unfortunately not able to get underneath Andrew Fash the third. He shut the door a couple of times, did not allow Corey to pass, and now he's kind of pulling away at this point. I think Corey's used everything he can out of that car and just trying to bring it home here and try and salvage what he can.
Yeah, either way, coming out with the second place finish, he's sitting there second in points, 6 points behind. Unless something happens to our leader here, that is where he will finish. And that's a very solid night for sure.
Yeah, Andrew Fast the third is he's definitely put on the performance tonight that we are more accustomed to out of him, leading a lot of laps. He's led the most laps by far, been out in front, hasn't had any issues or anything really to deal with at any point in this race, and he is just out there having fun and getting ready to win a huge race here in Richmond.
Yep, just about 2.5 laps here. Justin Munseal, he is coming, but it's just not going to be quick enough. This battle for the lead has kind of fallen apart, and now all the battles on the track are pretty much the same.
Corey gained on him a little bit that time, maybe trying to mount a late race charge, but all of a sudden someone blew in front of them. That's Bronson Stafford. He's going to stay to the inside, no caution. Almost a tragedy there. If he was anywhere near the leaders, that could have been big, but he stayed green and avoid disaster.
This final lap, though, we are white flag racing here at Richmond. Can Corey make something happen? He's just right off on that back bumper. He is about 1 car length off. He's giving it everything he's got here. Fayash will pull him down the backstretch. He gives it a big dive into 3 and 4, and it's not going to be enough. Andrew Fayash, number 77, will be the winner.
Collects max points and leads the most laps here tonight in Richmond. A dominating performance from Andrew Fayash III. That's going to be a huge confidence booster. And despite finishing second, does Corey Hoover. He's going to lose some points in the championship because of those max points. Wow, what a race there from those guys.
Official results now cycling through up on your screen. Andrew Fayash first, Corey Hoover second, Justin Munseal third, Austin Hartenfels fourth. Coming up in 7th place, impressive. Joseph Ties outside that top 10. Leandro Schmidt 12th. Bruce Ackerman 13th. Mark Murphy disappointing finish there in 14th. Michael Thompson there 15th. Dalton Alexander falling back even further than I thought, 16th. Mario Gerard 17th. Mark Rapolo 18th there. Bronson Stafford 19th. Tough race. Riley Grant Davis rounding up the top 20. As our winner here, Andrew Fayash, does his backwards victory donuts, we'll get him up in the booth. You're burning it down there on the front straightaway. Congratulations on getting another win here.
Thanks, guys.
Impressive job out here, that number 77, the Omni table. Any game, anytime. Tell us a little bit about your run.
Corey was making me wear my tires off, that's for sure. The car tonight, the setup tonight that everyone was running was pretty hard on the right front tire, and all race long it's like, okay, how long is this run? All right, we need to save the right front as much as possible because it's a long run. And then at the end we got that short one, and I got a little gap, and I started saving, and then Corey started running me down, and I tried to step it up, and it took me way too long to start finding my marks again, and I had to run some defensive lines because this track, I love it and hate it for this. The front straightaway being curved like it is, you have to make a choice when you got somebody right behind you. You either have to run the high side to keep the arc, but leave the door open, or you have to protect the line and then take a terrible arc into one, and just really you got to protect coming off of turn 2 then. So it's definitely interesting. Corey gave me a run for my money and kept it clean like he always does, and it's always fun to race with him.
Well, you're going to retain your points lead here. It's going to stretch out to about 10 points. You led 154 laps here. Tell us a little bit about how you feel for the rest of the season.
Well, as long as I do a little bit better at the road courses. I mean, granted, I got a little help that time, but as long as I keep within touch of Corey at the road courses, I think we're going to be very back and forth with the points throughout the season. Just got to stay out of trouble at tracks I'm good at. Like, I was doing all right at California, and I got myself back in traffic and got wrecked. So, as long as I keep myself out of trouble at tracks I'm good at, and then just keep decent at the tracks where I'm not good at, then it's going to be a close battle between Corey and myself, and Austin's right there too.
Now, one last question before we head off here. This weekend, it's big time on iRacing, 24 hours at Daytona. Will you be participating?
Well, based on my road course performance of last week and a few weeks ago in the Pro Series, I think you guys will not be surprised to hear that I will not be participating in the 24 Hours of Daytona. It's an awesome event, but not for me.
All right, that's pretty. Oval event.
Your mic cut out there during that question. Can you repeat it?
You never know when we might get someone to throw together a 24-hour oval event.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
24 hours turning left, man.
I'll be worn out, I know that for sure.
At 24 hours at Oxford Plains would not be fun.
I vote for South Boston in the truck. That's actually a fun combo, but scary.
Definitely. Well, congratulations on getting that win here. Very tough race.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys putting on the broadcast every week for this series, and everybody who's in charge of Upper Edge Racing. It's fun when we get green racing. I mean, we once in a while we get a few string of cautions, but I think every league and every series has that problem at some tracks. So, when the racing's green, it's great. I mean, I'm sure you guys remember Pocono, myself, Austin, and Corey battling for the lead for the longest time at that track, and when we get runs, it's great. So I really appreciate everybody who makes this league happen.
Good stuff. All right, Shane. Well, that will pretty much wrap things up here live from Richmond Raceway.
Yeah, it was a big night tonight. 175 laps. We saw plenty of carnage, but plenty of great battles, and especially for the lead, Andrew Fast III, dominating performance, collecting max points. A couple of guys getting some good finishes as well, and it kind of helped them in the points, and really is going to catastrophically end some of these other guys who had some bad nights. They're going to have to really climb back up here and see what they can do, because some of these guys, if they get too far behind in the points, they might not have a chance. So it's all going to be about next week and where we go and how the race will be, and we can't wait to join you next week.
And next week we go to Michigan International Speedway there, 100 laps, and then we go to Iowa to a track somewhat similar here to Richmond, and then we go to the Super Speedway, Talladega Super Speedway, for the Freak Nation 200 to start off February there, and then we go to Dover right after that. So that's a quick preview before we go to the All-Star Showdown Thursday, and that would be February 19th. So that's going to be pretty exciting there. But it's pretty much all wrapped up here tonight from Richmond. So thank you all for tuning in to Checkered Flag Interactive. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast, and we will see you Sunday.